program you're about to view is about bullying, which is a form of abuse, which comes from many different ways, including humor, if it's hurtful, is not funny. If it's verbally or physically abusive, sexually abusive, there's so many different forms. Even ignoring someone can be hurtful. We will be talking about that, and we did our program a couple of weeks ago. That was the first seminar. The second seminar will be scheduled soon. We'll be dealing more with cyber bullying, and also about the violence that's going on around the world, and especially in our area in Chicago with so many shootings. We want to help the groups that are trying to work in the area, and they have ceasefire and such, but we want to teach them the missing link for what they're trying to do, and that means the hardest job is to look into yourself and realize that we are part of the problem and that we have to learn to use words differently, that we can create a more peaceful generation, one word at a time. I myself was a bully and a victim, so it can be any one of us. And please stay tuned to watch the following seminar, and we will do another dealing with cyber bullying and what we can do about the violence in the streets. Thank you for watching, and tell your friends and neighbors to watch workforworldpeace.org. That's workforworldpeace.org. Thank you. You know, Rabbi Neil Green is here to lead us. And this is a memorial wall here that's for bully-side victims. This is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are 1 million people around the world that have committed suicide around the world because of some sort of abuse or bullying. So I thought we had to at least mark the names I was able to collect on the internet. There's many more, which I couldn't have printed out. So it's symbolic. And Rabbi Reed is going to ask you to step forward if you'd like, and just to either walk and read some of the names, or just come over here and have a moment of silence. If you would care to join us, stand up and just come forward. Thank you. Rabbi Grief is going to lead us in a special prayer tonight for the success of what we are all doing here this evening, hoping to bring a more peaceful world, a more peaceful generation, word by word. Rabbi Grief.
Thank you. Thank you for your efforts, for your dedication, and for your organizing this very special evening. I notice the 6 candles that are behind me, and naturally as a rabbi, as a teacher of Jewish tradition, when I see 6 candles, I'm reminded of those who perished in the Holocaust. We're at that time of year, and the sadness of these days, and thankful a response was in the establishment of the State of Israel. One doesn't have to do with the other. Would that the state had been founded and established many years before that, but that became a very basic response to the tragedy of the Holocaust, and we rejoice in the 64th anniversary of the State of Israel. But I'd like to begin with all of you good folks present this evening with a reading called To Remember with Reverence, and then conclude with one called Be Grateful. Poem. Let us be silent with our ancestors, remembering with reverence their eternal prayers, pronounced for millennium, these words expressing our faith. Gather the gleanings with thanks, the marvelous gleanings, those we can share by truth to ourselves, and those our sense and our thinking. Shine in the glow of their vision with gladness, that we may build as their seed upon their souls searching, seeking for meaning in the mystery of life and of being, through justice, through mercy, through truth and peace, through love of others, and through humility, and I would also add, and humanity. And this is the poem. Be grateful for skies of blue that smile from day to day. Be grateful for the health you own, the work you find to do. For round about you, there are those less fortunate than you. Be grateful for the growing trees, the roses that are in bloom, the tenderness of kindly hearts that have shared your days of gloom. Be grateful for the morning dew, the grass beneath your feet, the soft caresses of babes, and all their laughter sweet. Acquire the grateful habit. Learn to see how blessed you are, how much there is to gladden life, how little life to mar. But what if rain should fall today, and you with grief are sad? Be grateful that you can recall the joys that you have had. And this particular poem, which was written by Edgar A. Guest, was part of a rabbinic response to a tribute that a rabbi expressed to his congregation after a quarter century of service. At this time, his father had passed away and he was deep in mourning. And it was the time of reading of the crossing of the Red Sea and the challenges that the Israelites faced as they were fleeing from Egyptian bondage. And then he concluded with this commentary: we were able to walk in joy on dry land because of you, getting through the seas of reed, the Red Seas as it was mistakenly called, getting through the years of enslavement, the years of bitterness, the years of bullying, the years of being stuck in narrow spaces, the years of not having things work the way you wish they would work, and finding a way to hope and to promise to walk in joy on dry land because of you. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel taught me a powerful verse that I've often used in the Thanksgiving prayer. In gratefulness, there is greatness. We're grateful for this evening. We're grateful for the hope and promise of a better time and a better age. And we're thankful for the efforts of those who present tonight. And now I'll take a moment and introduce them in their own way. They've taken the liberty of sending me beautiful resumes, and when I read them, I would take up all my time plus. So I'll just say the following. In alphabetical order, Romanek comes before Rosenberg, but we have the R and R team. And R to me is a very beautiful letter in the English alphabet. It's the 18th letter of the alphabet, so it represents pi. So Howard, to my right, is a certified teacher in New Mexico, and before that, very much before that, in the state of Illinois. He's an instructor at the University of New Mexico, Osher Institute. But in Illinois, he was a History International Studies urban instructor at Glenbrook South High School and at Glenbrook Academy of International Studies. His real claim to fame is that I cherish him as a wonderful friend. He has so many tributes to his name. A substitute teacher, a volunteer basketball coach, a faculty member of Illinois State University. He makes frequent presentations to civic, business, service, and religious organizations. His honors have included Distinguished Teaching Awards from Glenbrook South Parents Association, the Those Who Excel Award from the Illinois State Board of Education, 3-time recipient of the Outstanding Teacher Award for the University of Chicago, and Certificate of Merit from the Cole Foundation for Excellence in Teaching. He was also honored as a basketball coach by being named Coach of the Year by the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association and the Illinois Girls Coaches Association, and being inducted into the Glenbrook South Coaches Hall of Fame and the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. So if the Bulls are looking for an assistant coach with someone who can advise them accordingly not to play someone when they're leading by the way they are in the last minutes, but remembering that accidents can happen anytime, injuries and likewise. In any case, Howard, we're glad you are the Renaissance person that you are, the dear friend that you are, the son of two wonderful people who were so much a part of establishing this congregation, remembering Lou and Jane Romanek, your beloved parents, and honoring you. We rejoice in having Howard. Shall I introduce Howard first, and then before you speak, Marion? Or let me do it. Get it over. All of us here know Marion. She's a treasure. A graduate of Roosevelt High School, a person who just wasn't someone to sit back and say, let someone else do it. She founded a group known as the BJBE, B'nai Joshua Beth Elohim Singles Friendship Circle. She led them for 8 years. She was vice president and president for 7 years. She was in charge of programming for each month. She came to our synagogue and has made a difference. She was the founder of the universal dream of world peace. Sounds most prophetic. She held a peace rally in Flick Park and had public forums at the Skokie Public Library, Petty Auditorium, and among those speakers was none other than our own Village of Skokie Mayor George Van Dusen, and today is a historic day in Skokie because there's now an Oakland Street train station, no longer making Skokie a Swift train, but the yellow line. What's that? It's done, we gotta live with it. Anyway, Marion joined the Skokie Lions Club and was named Member of the Month and is the current editor of their newsletter and vice president. She is a producer at Comcast Public Access TV in Skokie for a special show called Cool Down, to cool down anger, prejudice, and global warming. We are all volunteers in the program. This show has received an award in its first year, and she is serving now on the Village of Skokie Cable Advisory Board. She was married to a wonderful human being. We remember Marion Rosenberg for blessing. I'm sorry I didn't have the pleasure of knowing him in person, but we know you, Marion, and you represent the best of him and all that you are and all that you become. You've been involved in so many different activities, including the Mayor Kaplan JCC, and you've been a floral designer, you've taught ceramics at home, you've consulted for event planning, you've been blessed with 3 children and in-loves, and you just speak for yourself, Marion, in so many things that you do. We love you and we cherish you, and we await your words right now, and I hope I've kept within the time limit.
He's always a source of encouragement. When you're in his presence, you feel loved. That's all I can say. Not being married. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You mind if I just sit here? Or do you want me to stand? Sit. You want to see me standing? Does that have enough of
We
me?
can hear you better if you stand.
Well,
We can hear you better.
you can hear me better. Oh my goodness. I'm going to smite you.
It's on.
Hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I want to thank you all for being here today. And we have the power to bring peaceful generation by the words we will think about and learn about tonight. I hope and pray that you reach out to people around you, even when you leave here tonight. Tonight is not too soon. You can and you have the ability to make changes in the world. I was both a victim and a bully. I thought I was a fairly nice person, didn't realize I was a bully. And I went to listen to a speech from a Shalva representative some years ago. I was in my 60s at that time. And they talked about the different kinds of abuse. Could be physical, financial, verbal, sound of your voice, a nasty look, exclusion, and so on. Well, when I heard the sound of your voice, I said, oh my God, I'm a bully. I'm in my 60s and I learned that I bullied my children. That was the first inkling that I had. I mean, I loved them, I hugged them, I played with them, it was all the good stuff. But when you get nervous and you become a screamer, my mother was a screamer, so I became a screamer. If you don't know better, you can't do better. So that's sort of, just think about it. I'm not preaching to the choir, or maybe I am, but we're all human, we all slip, and we all make mistakes. The point being, when you apologize. And it took years. And I would say it's just now mending in my relationship with my children. So you can be in a club or a church group or almost anything, and you could be involved in planning something. And if there's somebody new coming in, you've got to make sure that person feels welcome. It's sort of like exclusionary actions are very harmful. And some people can deal with it better than others. What might seem bullying to one may not be bullying to another. I spoke at the Levy Center recently, and I was told that they had a bully there, and the ladies were very frightened of this younger, stronger woman. And I was told the bully didn't come, but these other ladies did come. And just a small suggestion that I left with them was to take the courage to tell someone how they make you feel by their attitude, action, word, deed. Because if you speak up, now you've given that person the privilege of knowing that they're offending you. They may not even know. And what resulted is that she did speak up. And the woman says, oh my goodness, I was just teasing you. I didn't mean anything bad. And now they're actually working it out. Sure, there are circumstances you may not be comfortable in confronting something, so you always have to make a decision. You've got to listen to your inner feeling, your inner gut, your inner God, and saying if that you don't feel safe in doing so, then you've got to find someone, I could say a family member, but maybe the bullying's going on in the family. It comes from all directions. People want the schools to do everything, and they are, some doing it. Some are actually, somebody mentioned to me, was it you who mentioned the bullying is actually going on in the school, because you have experience being in the school system. And Holly, of course, is a teacher. So there are some that handle the situation beautifully and get involved and find ways to comfort the students and find a path. So again, most important, it is such a severe situation that the National Education Association reports 160,000 children each day are absent from school because of either bullying, gossip, or rumors, false rumors. And that doesn't just stop at the schools. It's in club groups, it's at workplaces, and it's really beyond epidemic proportions. This is worldwide. It's not just America, but it's worldwide. So, when you think about the core for most anger, rage, and depression is due to how we are made to feel. Whether you're at home, at work, wherever it is. Some people, if they have a strong feeling about their inner person, that they've been made to feel that they're terrific and they've been encouraged, and the parents have been a lighthouse, like that young man to his son. He's an amazing man. That person will likely be able to deal with most bullies because their feeling about themselves is intact. And they can be helpful to other children and not just you know, if they see a child being bullied, if you step forward, or an adult, step forward and go over to that person. And then suddenly, you kind of start the conversation with that person and you walk away from the bully. Now the bully's standing there, he's standing there feeling left out. So it's important to gather people around you if you can. And as Holly has said to me on many occasions, you don't have to take in what they're saying to you. In other words, don't understand Holly.
Well, I try to say it in different ways, but of course I'll talk about it in a few minutes. My favorite quote is, some paraphrasing from Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You have a big say in how to respond to things. Something I'll get into.
I'll just wind down. We're coming up. Thank you, Holly. And I guess both Holly and I grew up hearing, before I say, a worldwide initiative started by Goldie Hawn. In 2005, she spoke before the International Press Conference, and she started this Words Can Heal program, which you can go on the internet and find the materials in the website. And she and Rabbi Erwin Katzoff started the Words Can Heal program, so I guess I was so taken aback with it. I studied, I just became obsessed with it. I knew that Words Can Heal have to be part of working for world peace, because if you find peace within, you can spread peace to them, again, her, and just you spread good feelings or bad feelings by your attitude, by your words, by your deeds. And so, how many I know, and many of you have grown up hearing sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never harm me. I remember singing that to me. And so, people who are hurt by those words or deeds can carry them for a lifetime at times. Broken bones will heal very quickly. Words have the power to encourage, enrich, or destroy that person. And I think that's the core to much of our terrorism. So I'm proud and pleased to partner with Howard Romanek. It's been a wonderful journey. This past year working with Howard, learning as we went. This is an unusual experience for me, and I usually do presentations on my own. So please welcome Howard Romanek. Howard, take it away.
And every day you can read something in the papers or you get emails. This was from a few days ago. Celicia Johnson is just 6 years old. On April 13th, her teacher said she had a temper tantrum in class, 6 years old. Instead of putting her in timeout, the school called the police. She was handcuffed, charged with battery, and kept in police custody for an hour before her parents found out what was going on. So all charges have been dropped. Celicia, 6-year-old, now has an arrest record. Celicia's mom, Constance, says that Celicia has been traumatized by this experience. She's afraid to return to school, and recently woke up in the middle of the night saying they're coming to get me. And now Constance wants to make sure this incident won't affect Celicia's future, and she wants to try to do everything possible that this won't happen again. And you just read things like this all the time, and many of us can think back. I grew up in the Austin neighborhood, and I had to deal with bullies in the neighborhood. I can remember in high school, sometimes basketball teammates give you a nickname. I didn't like the nickname. And it was tough a couple of years with the nickname that they decided to give me. And in fact, even 20 years ago, I was dealing with an adult bully. And was a district administrator at the high school. And I joined a list of other people, unfortunately, when I went on the list. And 2 times when no one was around, he forearmed me, and I think he was trying to get a reaction. Maybe if I slugged him back or something, that he would call the police. And both times, I went to the appropriate administrators, and they weren't any support. They really didn't support, because I think they were also afraid of this administrator too. And then finally, after another time it happened, I was debating with the superintendent. I said, I'm not a punching bag. Next time it happens, I'm going to the police, I'm filing a battery report, and you can deal with it in the papers. And it didn't happen again. But it would have been nice for a time period if I would have had the support, and it did affect me. And even after I retired, I was afraid of what if you run into him or something like that. The good news is there's been big changes, I know, in our high school district for the last 20 years in terms of teacher administration, teachers, and certainly for the climate, a better climate in school. There's so many things we do now. And I'll give you some of those articles.
Oh, does he send articles?
And changes have come for the better. And as individuals getting together or school, you can't make changes. But we have a problem, and it's a problem sometimes when I do a lecture or presentation. Our problem is this. How many have seen this before? All right. It's one of the best illusions of all time. It's in the top maybe 10 list of illusions. Some people, when you look at them, what do you see? The elderly woman. All right. Other people see a younger woman. All right. Now if I had brought stuff with me from my apartment in Albuquerque, I could have brought two pictures. And what they used to do, they show half the group a picture, and it's clearly a young woman. The other half, they would clearly show a picture, it clearly looks like an elderly woman. And so guess what? Then when the person would show this, the group that saw the young woman, what did they see? Right, they saw right away a young woman. The group that had been shown a picture of an elderly woman, what did they see? The elderly person. Our problem is dealing with bullying. What do people see? Some people will look at this, no, it's teasing. Other people know it's bullying. A pile of articles, I just brought a few. Some articles, take the one side, well, here's the Wall Street Journal. Public enemy #1. Childhood is safer than ever before, but today's parents need to be worrying about something. And so why busybodies and bureaucrats are zeroing on bullying. Yes, there's some things going on, but it's a big overreaction. Similar thing, anti-bullying. Obama's dangerous, futile anti-bullying crusade. And so some people see that. Another one that I had, it was from the Tea Party. There's bullies out there, it's a Tea Party. They're the ones. And so, the bottom line reality, we have a divided country right now in so many ways. Somebody I did a class in the Civil War, University of Mexico. We made the most divisive situation maybe since the Civil War. A lot of emotions, a lot of words are out there right now. And certainly bullying, there's this whole issue of bullying, and we don't see the same thing.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if there's something wrong with me, the problem is.
Okay.
But when I'm looking at that picture,
Yeah.
I see, I shouldn't say, but I see like a lion in back of this person's like.
Okay. Well.
Everybody sees something different.
Right.
But what's the bullying for?
No, all I'm saying is the whole issue of bullying. People see what people don't see the same thing. All right, so some people just look at this and no, it's teasing. All right, I see teasing going on. I've seen an action and it's just teasing. Yeah.
All kids do.
Right. All right. But the big challenge is what's the difference between teasing and bullying? And it might be teasing to you. Go talk to the person who remembered something that happened in first, second grade, and it stayed with them the rest of their life. In some ways, they're still dealing with something that happened the rest of them. Don't you tell them that it was just teasing. Right? So we have this division in our society trying to, is it a problem or not? Again, the Wall Street Journal is, hey, we're overreacting. Are we? Are we? Is his mother overreacting to the 6-year-old or her 6-year-old daughter went through? And so that's a problem we have to deal with. Because we're here because we have a divided, we can't agree in some ways about the whole problem of bullying. And then people, based on their previous experiences, often see what they want to see. And so maybe you see bullying, I don't see that. It's just teasing, and you're overreacting. And in response to that. I'm involved in education for this is finishing my 43rd year in education. I hope I have many more years ahead of me. And certain things have tried to guide me, and we're looking at words and everything. And it's in our prayer book, Rabbi Jacobs. One day I was just going through the greeter, and I was going through it. I think it was near the back. Before the word is spoken, we are its master. After it is spoken, the word is our master. And it just, something that, since I realized I'm trying to live by the best I can for these 43 years, and also my daily dealings. Words are like diamonds. They can be things of beauty or sharp-cutting tools. And certainly as an educator, we all have families, we've seen words are like, they can be such things of beauty. And I've had students, this can be the 35th reunion. They remember the exact words I said to other teachers. Those words of praise and encouragement. As I work with teachers and teachers-to-be in Illinois State, but they also remember those sharp-cutting tools that teachers use. They remember exact words when a teacher belittled someone in front of class, past the comments, all sorts. They remember those exact words 40 years later. Let me just give you one example. Because I like to, my point, my big point, I said Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make one feel inferior without your consent. No one can make one feel ugly without your consent. No one can make one feel stupid without your consent. I taught all levels of students, and I was one of those teachers who could. A lot of people can't. I've taught all age groups. Kindergarten, you know, there's the YMCA, and basketball coach, all the way through adults. But I just want to talk about what still goes on now. Sometimes I'll sub. In our history, we have different levels of history. Some have called it the caste system. All right? We have our AP students. I was about an Academy of International Studies. They were considered above AP. I mean, the different levels. And way at the bottom, sometimes we had numbers, 8, 3, 7, 3, 6, 3, 5, 3. Then they decided to eliminate the 5, 3. But by the title, the kids know this is the lower level history class. And I would walk in, and you know, some of the kids would know me, or maybe for the first time, and I'd hear over the decades, we're the stupid class. This is the stupid class. We're stupid. And I said, there's no such thing as stupid. And then I gave them a fast lesson, and I'll tell you, because sometimes we really don't understand what words are all about. We use words, we don't understand what words are all about. And what I do with them, if I have a pen, right now I'm somewhere there, I would take out okay, here we are. Sort of a gray pen here. I'd say I got a gray pen, gray cap. I put it behind my back. If I say I have a gray pen or a gray cap behind my back, how many have some idea what's behind my back? Okay? And then I'll say, define for me gray. You know what gray is? Yeah, you know what a pen is? All right, define for me gray. They know it's a color, so is blue and all that. It's a darker color. Well, others are darker colors. They can't define it. Because the bottom line in the message, there's no such thing as gray. When I say gray, what did I do? When I say gray, I say pen. What am I doing? I'm making a sound. What you gave me there, this is not a sound. This is what this is. The language is such a great thing. It helps us deal with the larger world. Language is similar to a map. It helps us deal with the world out there. All right? And we learn sounds. And I learned blue. In Mexico, they learned a different sound, azul. To help us deal with the world. All right? And what an advantage language is. What a great gift that we have. But there's a problem. We don't use the words like blue and red and flag and car. We use words like right or wrong, good, evil, stupid, a long list of words. And you have the whole wordings there.
The good ones.
All right. How do we come up with these words? We use them all the time. Parents, teachers, police, we use words like right or wrong. How do we come up with these words? And I get back to the class. How did you become stupid? Because I'm telling you there's no such thing as stupid. But you're telling me you're stupid. How did you become stupid? And the reason they became stupid because they had teachers in many ways telling them they were stupid. Sometimes they had parents telling them they were stupid. There was a girl I did tutoring at Honor House. I'm still involved with that at Honor House. And we still, public house students, we've been tutoring there since 1973 or other places from the mid-60s. And a girl came up and she wanted a tutor. And she was in the so-called lower level classes. And she wanted a tutor. And I said, well, God, it'd be great to have you. And it'd be a great experience for her. For tutoring first grade kids, second grade kids, great experience. She liked being with kids. And I said, no, this would be great. We can use a tutor. But she has to go home and get permission. She went to her dad. I like a tutor at Honor House. He said, who could you tutor? Who could you tutor? And she came back, well, yeah, right, look at me. I called the dad and he had to do it the right way. He said, oh, your daughter really like to be involved in tutoring. It's a great experience for first graders, and she can help them in alphabet and counting, you know, all that stuff would be a great experience. And then, fine. But you better believe she hasn't forgotten that remark, who could you tutor? Yeah, right. So again, oops, this is how I'm saying on there. But again, a number of ways they became stupid. All right, here lower level, well, they don't like school. Well, if you've been called stupid in many ways for a good number of years. You think you like coming to school? And I told her, how do we come up with these words? Often it's power. Some ways, there's different ways. Well, something's right or wrong, because for many people, God tells me this right or wrong. Those are 10 commandments, not 10 suggestions. But a lot of times it has power. And I work with teachers, and teachers believe, you better believe unbelievable power you have. You think carefully what comes out of your mouth. And you can do so much good, and you can do so much harm. All right? And you do have that power. Teachers can in many ways cite what's right or wrong, so be careful on the words that you use. But I do all these things for the students, introducing to the world of words and semantics. I say, you're not stupid. When you were born, the doctor didn't say, oh my God, another stupid baby just came into the world. Oh my God, how are we going to break the news to parents? When someone says you're stupid, we have our own criteria. According to our criteria, we think you're stupid. Or we don't think you're talented. I mean, so we have students that are still labeled gifted and talented. Well, then what am I? I'm not labeled gifted, so what are you telling me I am? I said, many of you, anyone think something you do really well? Yeah, I'm in this so-called low-level class. Well, I'm a great artist. I can do that. I can do all sorts of things. I said, can you do some things that your teachers can't do? So who's talented, who's not talented? And so the process of realizing is you weren't born stupid. Someone's put that label on you. And guess what? You don't have to accept that label. And Eleanor Roosevelt is a great quote. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one can make you stupid without your consent. No one can make you ugly without. And so my job